Good morning.
Good morning.
You're got the floor.
All right, thanks a lot, Jess. Okay, we will call the Board of Elections meeting to order. The first order of business will be the approval of minutes from various meetings. We just kind of want to knock these out real quickly, so I would entertain a motion for the, should we do them separately, can we do them collectively? There's going to be about 6 of them.
I think it's your choice on that.
Okay, all right, so I think it would be prudent to do them all together. So we will be looking for the approval of minutes from April 17th, May 9th, November 4th, and 2 sets from November 13th.
So moved.
Second.
All right, properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor will give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next up, I'd like to ask Director of Elections Jessalyn Carr to speak a little bit about the Blooming Valley situation and sort of what we're looking at doing there, if you wouldn't mind, ma'am.
Okay, so right now the Blooming Valley voting location is the fire department, and it has been for several elections now. But we have talked about moving it to the Blooming Valley Methodist Church, just right up the road. It's not very far at all, and Commissioner Seeley and I went and looked at the location a couple weeks ago, and it is a very nice location. It's ADA compliant with plenty of parking, and actually part of Blooming Valley's board is associated with the church. So they were very accommodating, and it looks like it would be a really good location for us to move to.
Okay, so statutorily, we are required to sort of open that for discussion. I think at this point, we would ask by consensus that Jess go ahead and post the locations, that this discussion is underway. This allows for 2 weeks of comment period from anybody in Blooming Valley. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I didn't know this was going to be an agenda item.
Oh my God,
I
I'm
didn't
so
really
sorry.
review that staff.
I'm so sorry, yep.
I mean, I think we're on the right track on it, but if you
Okay.
want me to just quickly follow up with you after I get back to the office, and I've got the
Yeah.
list in front of me, I'd be happy to do that.
Sure, that would be great. My apologies, sir. I should have let
Well,
you know.
consensusly, I'd be fine with making a motion to initiate the process of changing the polling location, following the approved time as the solicitor approves.
Okay,
That'll work.
Yeah.
okay.
Want to second that? We'll
I'll second.
All right, motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Just that sometimes I think, and Jessalyn knows this, when we've done this in Rockdale and other places where the workers at the polls are more comfortable with the location, they identify the location. This is just another example where they're comfortable with the location. It's a good building, and I'm well aware of both buildings. Scott knows fire departments sometimes in the middle of a day could have a siren go off for a structure fire, and that could intervene
Disrupt
with
a lot of
elections, and so a lot of things can happen. It gets real busy for a short amount of time, and so I think churches are good places to have the actual polling location. And I think that as long as the board is comfortable, which sounds like they are, I'm amenable to the change. So
Yeah, and I think by all indications in our conversations with that board that the word will get out in Blooming Valley very quickly. It's a pretty close-knit community. They probably all know about it already.
all 1/8 of a mile will know
So,
about it quickly. So.
We don't anticipate any issues, but we do want to make sure that that proper time is given for any objections or comments or questions. that
If you
may
did go to the
arise.
wrong location, it's 10 seconds down the road. So it's
Right.
Yes, it's an easy redirect.
Yeah, I think it's a good place.
Okay.
All right.
With no more discussion being had, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, thank you. All right, and next up, per a discussion extending from last year, the board felt it might be prudent at this time to revisit the poll worker compensation schedule that we have had laid out. To kind of refresh everybody, last year, because of the intensity of the presidential election and the anticipated high turnout, which did come true, it was the board's feeling at that point that the upper portion of the compensation scale should be applied to all election workers. Again, as background, compensation for judges of elections, inspectors, clerks, and what have you was historically determined by turnout in the voter in that precinct. And with the advent of mail-in voting, oftentimes precinct level turnout has gotten somewhat lower than it has been in the past. So, but still all the same, those individuals are sitting there for a 13-hour day, plus or minus a couple hours at the beginning and the end. So we want to make sure that they are not forgotten and that we are being sensitive to the time that they're spending. So presently, we do have a proposal for publication. I can summarize it a little bit. Currently, the judge of elections is the top earner, and they are compensated at the highest rate of $121 for a 13-hour workday. That does not include the small stipend offered for election night returns, the training stipend we offer twice a year for all election workers, and the mileage for their supply retrieval prior to both elections, as well as the return of the supplies on election night. We are proposing that be moved from 121 to 130. And subsequently, the majority, minority inspectors, clerks, student poll workers are all offered $115 a day at the top part of that scale. We would like to extend that to 125, so for a $10 increase. Constables, of which there are very few, but there are a couple throughout Crawford County, are given 100 a day. We would like to increase that to 110. The stipend for returning the judge of elections or their designee of election night returns on primary and general election night to the courthouse is $20 per trip. We would like to increase that to $25. And the secondary official that may or may not accompany that primary official returning those supplies and returns at $8. We would like to extend that to $10. Poll worker training right now is $20 for a 2-hour session. We would like to increase that to $25, while mileage will continue at the IRS rate. With the acquisition of the election integrity funding from the Commonwealth, this is the sort of thing that is suggested to make sure that you're retaining good poll workers when you can find them. And this is just a small token of what we are empowered to do to kind of tip our hat to those folks that have been spending, in many cases, decades doing this very thankless position through a lot of politically tumultuous elections. So with that, I would entertain a motion to adopt the proposed compensation proposal for poll workers dated January 8th, 2025.
I'll second that.
I'll motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
is there
Oh,
any?
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That was a long rambling summation. Is there any further discussion?
Just that it really equates to about 8% on average, and we just kind of used, I just did quick math in the meeting and did like a COLA adjustment from what the state would approve, but it really is still a pittance to what they really do. And, you know, the idea is Jess Lynn had a lot of poll workers who identified they weren't going to be poll workers after this election, and maybe we can use it for our retention pool of some of those folks. They understand that we still appreciate them, and this small token of financial appreciation maybe keeps a few of those folks around. So when it comes to you asking, she'll be able to do, and that's why we did it early, so we could ask those folks if they, you know, we did to give you some incentive for that. So I
They
think
are
it's
on the
great.
ballot this year, so.
Yeah. So we hope that helps continue that. So.
All right, thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor will give their consent by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Is there any other business for the Board of Elections?
Just at the time of your meeting seems to be longer than.
I
than
know,
meetings
yeah, I
combined.
know.
Just wanted you to know, so-
Still getting used to it.
No, nothing. Thank you. Good job.
All right. Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you.